Hi, this is Christopher Sparrow from iTechGear.org, and I've got a really cool unboxing today. I know it's been a while, but to be honest, I've got the Galaxy Z Flip 5. As you can see, I haven't touched it, and I've been waiting for you guys. So now that you're here, let's go ahead and dig in. We've got the Galaxy Z Flip 4 to compare to, and as you can see, here's the bottom screen. With the Flip 5, you know it's almost the entire full front, and the camera orientation is changed to along the bottom, all right, to give us a little bit more screen to take a look at. The Flip 4 is still a very good phone, and it's still available from Samsung should you feel the need. It is the same price as the Flip 5, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's dig in and take a look. All right. So, what's really kind of cool about the whole shebang, all right, is that there is definitely what seems to be a bit of a war on between Motorola and Samsung right now as far as the foldables are concerned. As you know, they released count them, two foldables so far this year in this orientation. Their Motorola Razr, which looks almost exactly like the Flip 4 with the sort of smaller screen on the bottom, all right, and the Flip 5, which the Razr Plus, which looks exactly like the Flip 5. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, this is coming directly from Samsung. All right. And here you go. Here is the Flip 5. Now, this is a little bit early. I've gotten it just a couple of days before the actual day. So let's take a look. Box is pretty much the same. There are two spots on the back to go ahead and zip tie myself out of. So let's go ahead and do that, and we will take a look at what's going on and compare to the Flip 4, last year's model on the Samsung side. All right. As we open up the box, you'll notice that everything else is in the top. All right. In the everything else box, which has the older sort of look and see flip sort of camera, sort of screen like graphic there. As you open it up, you get a SIM tool, you get a cord, a USB-C to USB-C cable, and you get all of the smashing documentation, which is the quick start guide and terms and conditions, and a Spanish version. All right. You also get the wonderful little terms and conditions and cancellation and return policies for all of these. We're going to go ahead and stick these all back together, and we're going to really concentrate on the device next. So let's put this back and take a look and see what's going on with the rest of the box, because that's going to be a heck of a lot more interesting, I think, than what we've got going on with the documentation. All right, and we'll just put that over there. All right, so now we're left with the Flip itself. Now I'm going to go ahead and dump this out, and there's nothing else left in the box except a nice little form, a cardboard form. All right. With this, we can go ahead and just peel off the awesome backing. Now, this one is in the Phantom Black that they have offered. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the box back together, and we're going to take a look at the outside of the device compared to the outside of the device on the Flip 4. All right. Now, they are about the same height. All right, you'll notice that this one, um, oops, that this one is actually in a black sort of thing, um, color. All right, and this one is more of their bespoke sort of blue. All right, color. All right. Um, the nice thing about the older uh, 4 is that it did, in fact, give you the ability. Um, um, it did give you the ability to go ahead and actually choose a couple of different colors. Now, with this year's model, they did the same thing. However, all right, some of the colors, some of the more interesting colors, like the bespoke blue version here for the 4, took a little bit longer to get here. And to be very, very honest, I wasn't really willing to wait. You will see. Um, you will see, and I'm trying to get these in such a way that they are about at the same height and about at the same. This is the 4, and this is the 5. And it's interesting that you can see right here on the screen the crease in the 4 versus the not so visible crease, although it's there. You can see it probably just about there, all right, with the 5. Now, I will tell you very, very clearly, very, very plainly, all right, it's a foldable. There's going to be a crease. It's not going to be perfect. Now, they're going to go ahead and over time improve the hinges, and they did between the 3 and the 4 and the 4 and the 5. All right. Um, and that's all nice, lovely, wonderful, and good. But the 4, you can see the crease here, and the 5, you can kind of sort of vaguely, there it is. There it is. All right. But you're going to get a crease. No matter what happens, you're going to get a crease. All right, now what are the differences between these two things? Since they're both still, since this is still fully available and this one is brand new, what's the differences? Well, with the Flip 4, you really get better battery life. It's a little bit more durable. It is probably, and that's largely due with the screen only on the bottom half as opposed to the whole front. All right. It is the same price, and the performance on this device is still pretty good. All right. Um, the camera upgrades weren't as good with this, and obviously, as I've been saying, the crease is still pretty prominent, even though it is less prominent than it was on the Flip 3. All right. Now, as far as the Flip 5 is concerned, all right, this little bad boy, um, it's got a full flex window, all right, on the outside. And you can do a lot with this particular screen on the outside, all right, and it opens up some really cool app ideas. Now, they aren't all fully available at this time, but they're coming. I can guarantee you they're coming, and they're going to come, I think, pretty hard and fast because of the competition with the Motorola Razr Plus. The Motorola Razr Plus, I believe, is about the same price as the Flip, at least as far as the Flip, the Razr Plus and the Flip 5 is concerned. I think that you're going to see a little bit more competition than you thought you were. All right, but it does have the larger window. It does have a better camera experience overall. Some folks are even calling it outstanding. There is a no gap design with this particular thing as opposed to this, where you can definitely see some sort of straight and very prominent line here with the Flip 5. It's not as prominent, and it is not as easy to see, although you can clearly see it there. But the gap here, definitely bigger, and the crease more prominent. With this gap design, the crease is not as prominent, and with this year's version, you get an automatic storage upgrade, basically double what you got last year, all right, with the base model. All right. As I said before, the Flex apps aren't just here yet. All right. And the battery life, according to a lot of the reviews that we're seeing online right now, could be a little bit better. All right. But this thing is supposed to actually be a little bit thinner. So let's fold it in half. All right. And then let's take this and fold it in half. And as you can see, there is definitely, I don't know if you can really, but there's definitely a gap here, and I can actually see through it. All right. With this one, there's a line. All right. But there's no gap. There's actually no gap at all, and I cannot see through. Although there's a little bit of light coming through, it's really very difficult. You can't see through it, and through this baby, you can. Give you the old stink eye, and I can see myself all the way through, clearly all the way through. All right. The cameras are horizontal on this, as opposed to the 4 is vertical. All right. The flash here, as opposed to the flash on the side here. The on and off button with the fingerprint sensor, as well as the volume rocker, is still in the same place as you would think it would be. And they are about the same. All right. The silver one being the 4 and the darker one being the 5. All right. They are about in the same place, and they are about the same size. On the opposite side, you see perhaps the SIM slot, the little hole that you see here, as well as here. All right, is the SIM slot. All right, and the poke hole for the SIM slot. And as you can see, there's a definite change in the size of that hinge. All right, 4 versus 5. The 4 is definitely wider. All right, and splayed just a little bit at the hinge site, where the 5 is definitely not. All right. Let's see here. The displays on these things. With the Flip 5, you've got a 3.4-inch Super AMOLED, as well as a 1.9-inch, compared to the 1.9-inch AMOLED outer screen on the Flip 4. All right, the cover screen is so large that it takes up half of the entire case, as opposed to about a third. All right, so you've got 2/3 more screen size here. All right. The Flip 5 features a 6.7-inch FHD or 2640 by 1080 dynamic AMOLED 2X, while the 4, all right, it's got the same size screen with the same size display and resolution. All right, and it's also dynamic AMOLED 2X. All right. They're going to have about the same qualities. All right. So you're going to have about the same viewing experience here as you are here. However, the 4 is a lot thicker. The 5 is definitely noticeably thinner. All right. As you can see, put side to side, the 4 is definitely thicker. We're bouncing on cameras here on the top. All right. But it's noticeably thinner. All right. The Flip 5 has a brightness peak of about 1,500 or so, 1,504 nits, which is nearly double that of the Flip 4, which means you're going to be able to see this 5 out in outdoors in the sunlight a lot better than you will this. All right. And that is going to be huge. However, you've got to watch the battery life, because the battery life on the 5 isn't as good as it is on the 4. All right. And while you have these differences, I can guarantee you're going to like the 5 a lot better. Let's go ahead, though, and just there's a lot of setup. There's a lot that happens here in order to be able to move this through. And I've got to move a SIM, as well as do all the setup. I will come back later on and show you what the display looks like, so you can see it. But this has been Christopher Sparrow with iTechGear.org with the Samsung Galaxy Flip 5.